is Frankie and I'm going to be taking you through a chair-based exercise class today. Today we're going to be working on some of our balance work and we're going to be getting up out of the chair as well to do that. So if you're not comfortable getting out of the chair, this might not be the video for you, but it'd be worth checking some of the other videos out where we stay completely in the chair. If you've done those videos and you want to advance yourself, then definitely give this one a go. So before we get started, we're going to get nice and warm, and to do that we need to be in our working position. So right now we're leaning back against the chair, we're feeling pretty comfy. So what we want to do is make sure our feet are underneath our knees, straight down, and then we're going to sit up away from the back of the chair. So the back is not against it at all now. We're sitting up nice and tall, having to use our core to get ourselves up. I want us to push our chest forward, push our shoulders away, and then looking up. So you're sitting up as tall as you possibly can. Imagine there's a piece of string on top of your head that's pulling you up, bringing you up nice and tall. And from here we're going to get to the front of the chair. So we're going to bum shuffle ourselves forward. And then we're going to recheck that posture when our bum is right on the edge of the chair. So we're going to make sure those feet are still beneath the knees and we're still sitting up nice and tall. Once you've got in position, we're going to start our warm-up. And to start our warm-up, we're going to be doing our toe taps. So I want us keeping our heels on the floor and lifting up our toes and just tapping them on the floor. Nice and steady. We're starting the warm-up up nice and simple. And then we're going to take it up a level in just a minute. So it's up to you how fast you go. You can stay with me. You can go slower, you can go faster. Just trying to lift those toes up as high as you can off the floor. Keep it going. After this, we're going to do heel taps in 3, 2, 1. So your toes stay on the floor now and you're lifting your heels up and down. And just like the toe taps, the speed is up to you. You can stay with me, you can go faster, you can go slower. And again, the range is up to you as well. So you might not be able to lift them very high, but as you get warmer, try and get them a little bit higher. Nice and steady. After this, we're going to be going to our leg march in 3, 2, 1. So we're going to start picking up our feet off the floor and picking up the whole leg as you do it. Nice and steady. It doesn't have to be fast. This is the first round we're doing it. We can go fast in a little bit. So when you're picking up your foot, you pick up your heel first and let your toe follow, lifting the whole foot off the floor. And then when we put them back down, you put your toes first and roll through your foot until it's flat on the floor and then lift up on the other side. So we're going nice and steady. The speed is up to you and how high you lift your leg is up to you. The faster you go and the higher you lift, the harder you're going to work. So if you're looking to push today, go faster and go higher. If it's your first time and you just want to see what it's all about, just keep it steady. After this, we're going to be doing an arm swing. Before we do that, let's check our posture, make sure we're still sitting up nice and tall. We're going to go to the arm swing in 3, 2, 1. So rest your legs and start to swing your arms. So one goes forward while the other one goes back, and then they change places. The most important part of this movement is that drive back with the elbow. So make sure you're pushing it right back behind you. This is really good for warming up the upper body because you're swinging those shoulders to getting them nice and warm, but you're also getting a little bit of a twist in your trunk. So we're warming up the whole of the upper body. Nice and steady. Just like everything else that we do, the speed is up to you and the range is up to you. But the faster you go and the further back that elbow travels, the more warm you're going to get, the harder you're going to work and the fitter you're going to be. So keep it going nice and steady. After this, we're going to be going back to our leg march in 3, 2, 1. Rest those arms and start to march those legs again. So this is the second round now. We know what we're doing, we know what our form should be, but let's make sure we are still sitting up nice and tall. So if you want to go a little bit faster and lift those legs a little bit higher, then you definitely should. Always pushing a little bit further if you can, making yourselves a little bit fitter and a little bit stronger every time you do this class. So keep it going nice and steady. From here, we're going to be going to a tap and a clap. So when we tap, we're going to tap our hands on our thighs, and then we're going to clap our hands together in front of our faces. So we're going to do that in 3, 2, 1. Rest your legs. We tap and clap, tap and clap. Nice and steady. Just like everything else, you can stay with me. You go faster, you go slower. It is completely up to you. Just keep those arms moving, really getting those shoulders as you lift those arms up. If it hurts your shoulders to go so high, just clap down here, but if you can, clap nice and high. Keep it going, testing that coordination as well as warming up those shoulders. In 3, 2, leg march, let's go. Lifting up those feet, nice and steady. This is the final part of our warm-up now. So keep it steady. If you can go a little bit faster, that's great, but you don't want to be pushing so fast that you're completely out of breath. And we're going to stop in 3, 2, 1. Let's bum shuffle back into our chair. So now that we're nice and warm, we're going to do our mobility exercises. So this is all about loosening up our joints, making them move a little bit easier so that when we're doing our balance work later, our joints aren't stiff when we're doing them. So the first thing we've got to do is get ourselves in our working position. So let's sit up nice and tall, feet underneath our knees, and bum shuffling to the edge of your chair. So you're sitting right at the front. Check those feet again, make sure they're underneath your knees, and you're still sitting up nice and tall. So we're going to start with some side bends. So I want your hands at the side of your chair. You're going to be dropping yourself down as low as you feel comfortable, and then sliding back up. So you're running your hands down the leg of your chair. Make sure you keep your bum flat on the seat as you bend, so you're just bending in the middle. You're not tipping over, which might cause a little bit of unsteadiness, okay? So sitting tall, hands on the sides. Let's do it all together. In 3, 2, 1. You're dropping that hand down to the side, holding it here, feeling the movement in the side of your body, and then come back up, sitting nice and tall. And let's do it on the other side. Run your hand down as low as it will go for now. It might be able to go a little bit further as we mobilize a little bit more. Back to the center, and let's do the first side again. So wherever you got to on the first side, each time you do it, just see if you can get a little bit further, even if it's just a millimeter more. And let's go over to the other side now, dropping that hand down the side of your chair and coming back up. And let's check that posture, nice and tall still. We don't want to be hunching forward. And let's go again on the first side, seeing if we can get a little bit further, mobilizing that spine and trunk a little bit more. Back to the center, and let's do it on this side again. Dropping it down, really feeling it in the side of your body and coming back up. And we're going to do it one more time on each side now. So dropping ourselves down. This is the last time on this side, so let's see if we can really get it further than before. And coming back up. And the very last time, dropping the hand down as far as you can, keeping that bum on the seat and coming back up to the center. Lovely. So we've mobilized the trunk a little bit. So now let's mobilize our ankles. So this one, what we're going to do is you're going to pick up the foot and put your toes on the floor while lifting up your heel. You have a look while still sitting up nice and tall at where those toes are. You pick up your foot again and put your heel in the exact same spot. And then you just alternate between the two. So we'll do one side and then we will do the other. So let's check our posture. Feet under our knees, sitting up nice and tall. And let's pick up the foot and pop the toes on the floor. Without leaning forward, just take a quick look to see where your toes are. Now lift up your foot and put your heel in the same spot. Now make sure your toes are off the floor when you're doing this one. So we're getting a good movement in the ankle. So let's lift it again and put the toes down in that spot. And lift and put your heel down. That's it. And again, lifting the foot, toes down. Lifting the foot, heel down. We're going to do it one more time on this side. So lift the foot and put your toes down. And then lift the foot and put your heel down. And then pick up your foot and place it flat on the floor. And hopefully that ankle feels like it's had a bit of movement, a bit of work. So we're going to do it again on the other side. Sitting up nice and tall still. Pick up your foot and put your toes down on the spot without leaning forward. Just take a look and have a look to see where your toes are. And then pick up the foot and place your heel down. Make sure your toes are off the floor when you're doing this. Doesn't have to be much. It's as much as it's comfortable for you. Lift up your foot and put your toes down, lifting the heel. And lift the foot and put your heels down. So this movement's really good at really getting that ankle moving, which makes it much easier when you're walking. So put your toes down for me. So if you ever come across a bit of an uneven pavement, and you've got to make sure that you lift your foot properly so that you're not going to trip over. And heel down. And let's do it one more time. So toes down. And then lift that foot and heel down. Make sure your toes are off the floor. Lift it one more time and place it flat on the floor. So the next one we're going to be doing is for our shoulders. So we're going to do shoulder lifts and then shoulder circles. So the shoulder lifts are like this. You sit up nice and tall and you take your shoulders up to your ears. Don't take your ears down to your shoulders, right? We're going up, not down. So we don't want to sink into our chair. We sit up tall, bring the shoulders up and down. So let's do it all together in 3, 2, 1. Lift your shoulders up to your ears, hold it there, make them work a little bit, and then push them away and push them down so they really lengthen your neck. And let's lift up again, lift them up nice and high. And then taking them down and pushing them away. Make sure we're still sitting up nice and tall. It's always tempting to hunch a little bit as you come down, but push your chest forward and sit up tall. Let's do it for number 3. Lift them up for your ears. And push them down and away. Let's do it one more time. So let's lift them up. And let's take them down. Lovely. Still sitting up nice and tall. We're now going to do shoulder circles. So this one, you're going to take your shoulders forward, up to your ears, and then back and round. So you're drawing a circle with your shoulders. If this one feels far too uncomfortable to do, just stay with the shoulder lifts as we do this. So let's do it all together. You push your shoulders forward, lift them up to your ears, push them back and round. So you draw that nice big circle. Let's go straight into number 2. Forward, up, back and round. And number 3. So you're really making your chest push forward as you go back and round on this one. One more time. Forward, up, back and round. Lovely. Give them a little wiggle if you need to, loosen them up. So hopefully they're feeling nice and warm, nice and mobilised. So we've got one more mobilising exercise to do, and that is our twists. So for this one, watch me. You have your hand at the back of the chair. Your other hand goes across your body, either holding your leg here or wherever it is that you feel comfortable, or if you can, touch your chair. You're going to twist and look behind you. You're going to hold it there for a few seconds before going back to the centre and doing the same on the other side. Make sure your bum stays where it is so that you're only twisting in your trunk area. So let's do it all together now. Reach back behind you and hold the back of your chair. Hand goes across your body and turn to look behind you. So you should feel this twisting all across your middle. And you should feel it a little bit in your neck as well. So it's a really good mobilising exercise. Back to the centre, and let's do it on the other side. Hand goes to the back of the chair, other hand goes across, looking back behind you. So these are only the first 2. So now that we do more, you might find that it's a little bit easier and you can get a little bit further. So hold the back of the chair, hand goes across, look back behind you, seeing if you can push into it a little bit more. And back to the center, and let's go across to the other side. Looking behind you, twisting as much as you can while keeping that bum flat on the floor. And back to the center. Let's check that posture. Make sure we're still sitting up nice and tall. As your mind wanders on other things, sometimes you'll hunch a little bit, but got to make sure you're sitting tall. So hand goes to the back of the chair, other hand goes across, looking behind you, getting that nice twist in your body. And then come back to the center, and on the other side for me, hand goes back, other hand goes across, looking behind you, twisting a little bit more if you can, and back to the center. We're going to do it one more time on each side. So this really is your last opportunity to get as much out of it as you can. So let's really try and twist big. So really get that body moving. Looking right back behind you. Best one yet. Back to the center, and it's one more time. Reach behind you, hand goes across, looking behind you. And back to that center. So that's all our mobilizing exercises done. So let's bum shuffle back into the chair, sit back and relax. So the next part of our exercise class is our balance. So you'll see that I've got a line of chairs here because we're going to be traveling in the exercises that we're going to be doing today. So what I would recommend, either setting it up like I have here with a row of chairs, or potentially doing it in your kitchen where you've got the kitchen counter. What you want to have is an edge that you'll be able to hold on to for support if you need it, but you want it to be long enough that you'll be able to travel forwards and back, okay? So one chair isn't really long enough. I've got 4 here, you can't see the end one, but yeah, the best place would probably be in the kitchen and along the counters. So we're going to get ourselves to the back of the chair. So to do that, we need to do our sit and stand. So we're going to get ourselves in our working position, feet underneath the knees, sitting away from the back of the chair, nice and tall. Let's bum shuffle forward so that you're sitting on the end, and I want us to bring those feet back underneath the knees, even further. So they're still flat on the floor, but they're as far back as you can. You want to lean forward, shifting your body weight onto your knees, and then drive up into a standing position, and then just pedal a few times, just readjusting that body into the new position that we're standing in. Let the blood pressure settle down, and then when you feel okay, you're going to turn and walk yourself around to the back of your chair. Now if you are doing this in the kitchen with the kitchen counters, you want to be stood there as well. So you can see here, I've turned my chairs so that you guys can see exactly what I'm doing, so that you can get a good view of what I'm going to be doing with my feet and things. The best place to do this would definitely be within the kitchen. So you've got that long range of the cabinets so you can support yourselves. So the first thing we're going to do is our toe walking. So what we're going to do is you're going to shift your weight forward into your toes, lift yourself up nice and tall, and you're going to take little steps, all right? Little steps as you're walking forward, and then you're going to turn and walk back. Now you can see that I'm using my hand on the backs of the chair for support, and you should do that too if that makes you feel comfortable. If you want to start testing yourselves, get yourself up and maybe just hold on with a fingertip, or if you really want to go for it, let go completely, okay? And it's up to you if you want to have a little go at letting go, but you want to make sure it's still there. You can just grab it whenever you need it. So let's do this all together. We're going to do it walking forward and back, okay? 4 times in total. So we're going to start at the end, and we're going to shift our weight into our toes. Now don't lean forward when you do this. Sit up nice and tall. And we're going to walk forward little steps in 3, 2, 1. Little steps, little steps. So you really should feel this in the backs of your calves. Make sure you're standing nice and tall as you do it. When you get to the end, turn, still on those toes, and walk forward. Make sure your heels are completely away from the floor and lifting yourself up as high as you can. And let's turn again. Now if you want to this time, try and just hold on with a fingertip if you want to test yourself. You know the side is still there, so if you do need to grab hold of it, that's absolutely fine. We're going to turn and walk back one more time. Now if you want to push yourself a little bit further, let's see if you can let go and do it. Remembering that if you get into any difficulty, you can just grab hold of that chair. Get to the end for me, turn round, place your heels back on the floor and give me a little pedal, easing off those calves. And when you're ready, stand nice and tall and relax. So now that we've done those toe walking, we're going to do the opposite and do our heel walking. So for this one, you're going to lift your toes off the floor and put the weight in the backs of your heels. And again, try not to lean forward and stick your bum out. You're going to stand nice and tall. Use that core for balance, all right? It's a really good way at strengthening your shins, but are also really good at testing your balance. And just like when we did the toe walking, we're going to do it 4 times forward and back, remembering that you can let go at any point to test yourselves, and I'm going to try and talk you through that as well. So let's get ourselves to one end. Standing nice and tall with our feet underneath our hips, and let's push the weight into the back of the heels and lift our toes off the floor. And now let's start to take little tiny steps forward, all right? It's only little steps. And remember that you've got the chair there or the side, wherever you're doing it, for support. When you get to the end, turn yourself, trying not to put your toes down, and go the other way. Nice and slowly with those little steps. Try not to look down. Try to look in front of you to keep that chest up. And let's turn again. And let's go back. Now this time, let's see if we can hold on with just one finger. Still doing those little steps, remembering that you can grab hold of the side at any time. Keeping it going. When we get to the end again, let's turn. This is the final time we're doing it. So if you can, let go completely and with little steps go forward, remembering that you can grab hold of the chair at any point or the side. When you get to the end, turn, place your toes back on the floor and give me a little bit of a pedal. And you should really have felt that in your shins. So both of the toe walking and the heel walking are really good at strengthening the back and front of your lower leg, but they're really good at testing your balance as well. So you're going to be strengthening up those tummy muscles because you're going to be balancing. When you're using those in day-to-day life, it's going to be for when you're just walking around and you've got a bit of an uneven pavement, or you're going up the curb or anything, and you need to be able to lift those toes up and lift your heel up with a big movement in your ankles with nice strong muscles in your leg to help you do it. Once you're feeling okay, just have your feet underneath your hips, standing nice and tall, and relax. So our final exercise that we're doing today is our heel-toe walking. So this one, you're going to have your feet close together and you're going to put one foot in front of the other. But it's not just a normal pace. All right, you're going to put your heel so it's touching your toe. And then you bring the other round and it's heel to toe, heel to toe. So it's nice little movements when you're doing this one. And again, just like when we did the toe walking and the heel walking, you can let go, you can use one finger, it's completely up to you. So let's get ourselves in position, feet underneath our hips, standing up nice and tall. So let's take the outside leg and put the heel in front of your toe. And then shift your weight onto the front foot and take the other one forward, heel to your toe. And again, heel to toe, heel to toe. Lovely. Now let's turn round and go back the other way. Heel to toe, heel to toe. Now that we've got it, try not to look down, try to look up so you're standing up nice and tall when you're doing this. Keeping it steady, heel to toe every time. And let's turn again, and this time let's try and do it with just a fingertip on the chair. Heel to toe, trying not to look down as you do it. So this one's really good for when you need to be able to move your feet if you're in a bit of a narrow spot. So if you're in the supermarket and there's a bit of a crowd and you need to get through and you need to move your feet close together to do it, this one's really good at helping that. So we're going to walk forward one more time, and this time let's see if we can let go completely. So it's heel to toe, trying not to look down, all right? Trust your body that it's going to get in the right position. If you need to grab hold of the chair for support, that is absolutely fine. And then let's turn one more time. And let's pedal it out. So we're feeling a little bit like we've worked. I know my legs do. Keep it steady, pedaling up and down. And then when you're ready, feet underneath your hips, standing nice and tall, and relax. So now that we've finished our balance exercises, we need to get ourselves back down in the chair. So obviously this depends on where you've done it. If you have done it in the kitchen along your counter, you just need to get yourself to the front of the chair. If you did it like me with a line of chairs, you just again need to get yourself to the front of the chair. So now's the time to take yourself to your front of your chair. So nice and steady, using support if you need it. And then make sure that you can feel the back of the chair, the front of the chair on the back of your legs. Okay, so if you can feel it there, you know it where it is, you know it's not going anywhere. I want you to stick your bum out behind you and lower yourself in to your chair. You're sitting back, so just relax. We're going to be finishing off our class with our stretches. So we're going to get ourselves to the front of the chair in our working position. So sit up nice and tall, feet under our knees, and let's shuffle forward in that chair. So the bum is right on the end. So let's do our chest stretch first. So what I want us to do is reach both hands back to the back of your chair. Make sure you're still sitting up nice and tall. We're then going to push our shoulders back and our elbows together, and as you do this you're going to push your chest forward, and you should feel a really nice stretch all across your chest, a little bit in your shoulders as well. This one's really good at pushing those shoulders back, pushing the chest forward, which expands the space for your lungs, which means you'll get more oxygen in and will make breathing much, much easier. Nice big stretch across your chest. I like this one, I like to hold it for a little bit longer. 3, 2, 1, and relax. Give your shoulders a little roll if they need it. Lovely. So let's do our up and over stretch. So what we're going to do for this one is just watch me for the first one. You're going to put your hand onto your shoulder, lift up your elbow so it's to the side of your head. You're then going to reach the hand up into the air, and we're going to tip over across, keeping the bum in the seat so that you're not going to be going anywhere. So let's do it all together. So sitting up nice and tall, hand touches your shoulder, the other one goes underneath for support and pushes it up into the air so it's in line with your head if you can, and you should feel this stretching on the back of your arm here. So let's just hold it here for a little bit longer, enjoying that stretch there. And then I want us to extend the arm into the air and lean across. So now you should feel the stretch all the way down the side of your body. Keep your bum in the chair so you're not going to go anywhere, and you're just accentuating that stretch along your side. And then come back to center and support the arm on the way back down. Lovely. So now we're going to do exactly the same stretch but on the other side. So touch your shoulder or with your hand, other one goes up, supporting it on the way up, pushing as high as you feel comfortable and feeling the stretch in your tricep, in the back of your arm. Just hold it here for a little bit longer, feel that stretch, and then extend the arm up into the air so it's as straight as you can, and then let's lean across. Again, keeping that bum flat in the chair, just leaning across, feeling the stretch down the side of your body. And then we come back to the center, hand back down and support it on the way down. Lovely. So our final two stretches are going to be for our legs. So we're going to do the back of the thigh stretch first. We're going to pop the leg out nice and long for me so it's straight. And just give it a little wiggle, make sure it's relaxed, all right? It's straight, but you're not working the muscles at all. And you should feel a slight stretch happening in the back of your hamstring here. So if this is enough for you, you want to stay here, that's fine. But if you do want to take it further, hands go on your bent knee and lean forward. And you should feel a bit more of a stretch there. So when you're leaning forward, make sure you keep your back flat, all right? Try not to arch over like this. Push your chest forward, push your shoulders down, and have a nice flat back. And this is going to increase the stretch in your back of thigh. And it also protects your back as well. Keep it there for a little bit longer. And then when you're ready, come back up and slide the foot in. So let's do exactly the same on the other side. So the other leg goes out nice and long. Give it a little wiggle, make sure it's relaxed. And again, if this stretch is enough for you, making sure you're sitting tall, then stay here. But otherwise, hand goes on your bent knee and you lean forward, keeping the back flat. And let yourself fall into that stretch, getting a deeper stretch in the back of your thigh. So this one's going to lengthen your hamstrings, which helps you when you're putting your shoes and your socks on, or picking things up off the floor. That's always another one as well. Leaning forward, feeling the stretch, and then coming back up to sitting and slide that foot back in under your knee. So the next two stretches are very similar, but instead of the back of the thigh, they're going to be stretching your calf muscle here. So you put your leg out nice and long again, but this time your foot is not relaxed. You've got to pretend there's a piece of string on the end and you're pulling it in. And as you do, you lift your foot up. So it should be pointing up to the ceiling. If you've got good range, you might even be able to get it pointing towards you. And you really should feel that stretch in the back of your calf. And just like the hamstring stretch, if this is enough, then stay here. But otherwise, you're leaning forward and just feeling a deeper stretch in the back of your calf. So another one to help you put your shoes and your socks on. But another one as well that helps with your walking, because if you've got nice, long, flexible calves, it's a lot easier to pick your feet up when you're walking, so you can deal with the uneven terrain. And come back up to sitting. Bring that foot in, and let's do the same on the other side. Leg out long. Imagine you've got that piece of string, pull it towards you so that your foot is pointing straight up or as far back as you can. This is enough, stay here. Otherwise you're leaning forward, supporting your weight on your bent knee with a nice flat back, all right? We're not leaning forward. We're pushing the chest forward, pushing the shoulders back with a nice flat back. Keep this a little bit longer. Feel that stretch in the back of your calf. If you can, lift your feet, toes up even more to get an even bigger stretch. And then come back to the center and slide that foot back. So we're all done with our stretches. So let's bum shuffle back into our chair, sit back and relax. So again, this video is a little bit more advanced than the first few videos that we did with the chair-based exercises. So if it was a bit much for you, maybe return back to those and do them a little bit more, building up your strength with the resistance band to help you get up out of the chair. And then it would definitely be worthwhile tackling some of the balance ones as well. Thank you very much for joining in, and we'll see you next time.